Gamers. This is Lamer Travis and
Skylar
for the Lamer Gamers podcast. Rowdy will not be with us this week, but hopefully he'll be back soon. But I found another Lamer to join in the fun. So, in today's episode, it is going to be gloriously janky. And by that, we mean we're going to talk about games that have no right being called good or well put together, but they can be called fun? Maybe. First, we're going to read some review bombs for everyone's favorite game to hate right now, Jank Alliance, which can only be described as
janky.
Yeah, and we'll also read you some ways other people have described this game along with our own views. They're very well written. They're very jankily written. There we go. All right, then we'll talk about our top 3 favorite janky games of all time, and we'll end the show with a special bonus points where we asked all you lamers out there what your favorite janky game of all time is. All this and more coming up on the Lamer Gamers podcast. Rowdy from long ways away, cue the music. All right, guys, before I press the start button on review bombs, if you like what we're doing, don't forget to press up, down, left, right, BA start. Then like and subscribe on your current podcasting provider. Also, check out @LamerGamersCast on Twitter and share the show with the lamer you know. Lamer Gamers present the segment where we talk about terrible reviews. This is Lamer Gamers Review Bomb! Alright guys, now before we get started with the review bombs, we need to define the term janky. Now, my favorite definition is from the Urban Dictionary.
They have the best of all definitions.
Oh, they have some great ones. So, true speak time. Whenever students use new terms that I don't understand, we go through Urban Dictionary.
That's the only way to do that.
It's very helpful. Mm-hmm. Don't show your kids Urban Dictionary. Anyway, now, I actually think this definition is more official sounding than the Oxford version, because there is an Oxford definition for janky.
Janky is in the Oxford Dictionary?
Janky is in there, and it's from the 90s. But if you look up Google analytics, like in all their books, right? Mm-hmm. Apparently janky was also used in the 1800s, but I think it was like the name of somebody that did some science with chickens.
I think that would be my favorite term, actually.
Yeah. Chicken science.
Chicken scientist.
Chicken science is janky.
What do you do for a living? I'm janky.
I do janky sciences.
Janky sciences on chickens.
All right. So here is the top definition for janky on Urban Dictionary. It's an adjective. Inferior quality, held in low social regard, old and dilapidated. Refers almost exclusively to inanimate material objects, not to people. Now, do you want to read the what they say for the example sentence?
Okay, the example sentence. We tried to pick up on these girls waiting for the bus, but I was driving my sister's janky 1989 Geo Metro, so we just got clowned instead.
See, that's a good definition. And I don't know if you've ever driven or rode in a Geo Metro.
Yeah.
But they are janky.
They are jank. That is quintessential jankiness.
Yeah, I do remember, though, my brother had a Geo Metro. That thing lived forever. It was invincible. It was the Highlander.
The Highlander.
Yeah, that's Lord Cromdor, if y'all have listened to him in the past. Oh, you can go without oil. He didn't change the oil for well over 10,000 miles, which I think you can do now you can get close to that with the newer oils, but don't do it. I didn't tell y'all to do that. Mm-mm. Okay. But do you think that definition works? Is there anything?
I think it works. The only thing I disagree with is that jankiness can't refer to people because I know some janky people.
Truth. Very true. And, in the Oxford definition, though, I should have put it up here for you, but it did say that it has the example sentence that software is janky. So this works pretty well according to Oxford.
Okay.
And we're going to be talking about Janky Games, janky software. Basically, it's going to be something that is not working. Now, before we get to our experience with this game, because we are going to give you our impressions, we're going to read some review bombs. Now, some of these are quite extreme. We may have to act out some of the more dramatic ones. So I know Rowdy and I have had lamer theater in the past, but I brought a real actress here today. Also, we do our best to make this a safe for work podcast, so some words may be replaced. So let's get the party started. We are talking about Dungeons and Dragons Dark Alliance, which is it's a game that is it's a multiplayer. It's a game where you run around with your friends. It's based on, I should have gotten Ryan to explain this.
Yeah.
It's basically based on the R.A. Salvatore books, and it follows the story of Drizzt and who are the other people? I don't know.
You got
Brunor,
Caddy.
Yeah.
And I can't remember
Wolfgar. Wolfgar, yeah.
Wolfgar.
That's who I've been playing with. He hits things with a hammer.
He does do that.
I will say before we get, I'm not going to get too much into it, but it's a game.
It's a game.
And you run around with friends, and there is a story there, but we'll talk more about it, and you'll find out about with these reviews. Do you want to start us off with Fatty Fat Fat?
Fatty Fat Fat says, trash can, a dumpster fire. Don't play this.
Yes, that's the review. It's slightly dumpster fire-ish. There was a match we had last night against a chonker boss that was a dumpster fire match.
Yeah.
So next up, by the way, these are, as y'all have heard in the past, most of the really fun reviews are on the Xbox Microsoft Store website. I don't know why, but they're always poorly written. These are better than Metacritic's. Next up, we have Bastion Main 6107, and his title is Bruh. This game is trash, and then there's like a little, that's XD. I know that's
it's
some
like
sort of
it's like the
it's
like
an emoji.
Yeah,
it's dead. It won't let me play online. I love playing D&D alone.
Was that sarcasm? I love playing D&D alone.
I think they were trying sarcasm.
I feel like that would be. It just doesn't translate well in text.
It doesn't translate well in thought processes either. Yeah. All right. You want to hit up the next one?
Gun Valky for life?
I guess I can spell Valkyrie, or I misspelled it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're going to say Gun Valkyrie for life. Dull Alliance. Do you enjoy watching paint dry? SMH icon.
Yeah. I feel like we need Billy Mays in that one. Billy Mays here. Do you enjoy watching paint dry?
But wait, there's more.
You could play Dull Alliance. Hit buttons and not actually have it hit goblins. Yeah. All right, so this next one. We got it. This one. This is one of the ones where I have to change up the way I say it. So this one is, I'm just going to read it how I imagine this person. Okay. So I got to get into my acting mode, character mode. Hold on.
Shake it out. You got to shake it out first.
A hacky sack, and I need some Jinkos.
And I only wanted yellow M&Ms in my dressing room.
Yeah.
And there is clearly a green one right there.
Yes. Okay. So here goes. Illicit drug usage in the 80s. If I were playing the game, the original Dungeons and Dragons, and someone slipped me some Jello, illicit things, some same old game mechanics with a illicit drug trip. This game plays pretty horrible. It's like Hasbro tried to make the game using a 3D printer, man. Only it's video, and only doing illicit things could make it work that day. It's deep.
That is deep.
But you're not on those things, are you, huh? You threw away $60 for cool. He must have said something that was not allowed, because there are a lot of asterisks.
That's a lot of asterisks.
But they're like real time until you sober up and realize you've been robbed butt booty naked.
Naked.
Booty Naked.
That's one of those that's so deep you've actually got to read it twice, I think, so that like you can let it sink in.
This one you really need to see in person, I think. I can't do enough justice to this.
No.
Especially on a Safe for Work podcast.
It's like Shakespeare.
It is.
It loses something in the reading it from the page.
I'm going to get the next one, then you got to do the one after this. Okay. All right. So I love the name of some of these people on Xbox. This guy's name is Cop Doctor Lawyer.
Cop Doctor Lawyer.
Cop Doctor
Because he couldn't
Lawyer.
decide.
Yeah,
he's all three.
Could you imagine how? Well, he'd be in college for quite a while. Now, I did see a billboard sign the other day for a lawyer/doctor on I-10. Have y'all seen that?
/doctor.
Ramsey. Yeah, I don't know who that dude is, but he is a doctor lawyer. So this guy is
Dr. Lawyer Man.
This guy is a little more than him.
Yeah, because he's a cop.
Yeah, his title is Dog Water. And he has an extremely verbose
that's
explanation.
some vivid imagery.
Dog water, yes. Think about dog water. No, don't do that.
Don't
it's kind of gross.
No.
All right. But his explanation of this game that I think he spent a lot of time with.
Yeah.
Whack. That's it.
That's the whole thing.
I think he explains it. Guys, do y'all know what this game is now? I think he explained it.
Yeah.
All right.
It's very thorough.
All right. So this is why you're here. You gotta. We need people to feel how tragic this next one is.
Yeah. Okay.
Gman548 said, "It's not even real D&D. The game is a parody of what D&D is. It's a lazy cash grab that had no love or care involved. Wizard and Toke allowed this to be published. It looks like and plays like it was designed by 16-year-olds in high school. A shame. I can do better. And I think I'll write it out and send it to your office every weekend just to hope you'll correct your tragic creation."
That clipped so hard on the mic. It was awesome.
Sorry.
That's okay. I'll put a D-clipper on. Rowdy has to put one on me all the time. Oh, that was fantastic.
I feel like at the end of that, you should say, #Free Britney.
Oh, man. There's somebody that's like, what are these boomers talking about? All right. So I'm going to be getting the one after this. Do you need a break or do you want to hit this next one?
You can go right ahead.
All right. Go ahead and do 10.
Okay. I'll do this one then.
Yeah.
10 Shadowcat. Aggressively and impressively sucks. Repetitive and dull.
I want a refund for the bandwidth I used installing it. I think that is my favorite burn of them all. Like when you have to, you demand a refund just for the bandwidth that you spent installing. That's hard. That burns.
All right, guys. So this next one, there's a lot of extra punctuation. The punctuation is pervasive. It's not persuasive though.
No.
So the only way you can read this is to Shatner it up. So
you gotta Shatner the crap out of that thing.
I'll try my best.
Okay, do it.
And I don't know who this is by, so I would imagine. Oh no, it is. Okay, this is by M2K Acid with 2 eyes. Only 2 fun playables. Terrible game. It felt like I had no real option online. Ugh. I would rather not play that ever again. I wish I did not waste my time. But the dwarf makes the game. Or the elf, whatever it is. Not the asterisk, which I think he meant a word that we're not going to say. I think it's offensive. Or little people. Or Dolph. That's OHRDORF. Or whatever they call it. How did Shatner do this with a straight face?
I don't know.
Or Dolph. Or whatever they call them. This is not hate speech. And simply, just a simple review about how boring the game is. I regret playing. It feels like it's stuck in between a dungeon game, an RPG game with a story quest, meaning there's no RPG real factors in it because your character is not really developed differently from what it is. Thank you. Snaps. Okay, that's not very good Shatner, but there were that
was as good Shatner as this was a review.
Oh,
They're equally janky.
I feel like she just insulted me.
No. Yeah, I did. Yeah, they were equally janky.
All right, do you want to get next one? I love this name.
She's Kwekwe.
Kweh. Kwekwe.
Kwekwe. She's Kwekwe. At least it's on Game Pass. It's not great. Online never works. Boring, unchallenging, dungeon crawl into the Forgotten Realms. Maybe it'd be better intoxicated and with local mates.
You know, I feel like this one's honest review.
I think so too. I can't disagree with what She's Kwekwe says.
Yeah, She's Kwekwe is not that Kwekwe in this one. So, all right, guys. So this, and I will say, when you play with friends, that's really the only way to play this game.
It really is. Yeah.
Okay, I have to do a call-in for this next one, so I'm going to read it, but it's in another language. And I have to call out somebody that I know can speak this language properly. So this is from Flush Tadpole. And the title is, and this is where it gets into another language, This Game is Straight Cheeks. Now, that is British. Hold on. I need to call in a loyal historian, my lamer wife. So, what does cheeks mean? Because you have a grandmother that's British. Okay. Well, I think you have a definition.
It's straight cheeks.
It's straight cheeks. So tell me.
Okay. It's something that's inferior to most.
You got to be loud. Here, I'll move this up to you.
It's something that is inferior to most.
Okay. So
it can also be straight buns.
It can also be straight buns.
Straight buns, like hot dog buns?
Hot
Those are
cross
straight
buns.
buns.
Yeah.
Hot dog buns are just...
Hot dogs buns are straight.
They're straight
I hear
buns.
they're 16 cents less this
They
year.
were 16 cents less.
Oh, man. Okay, I'm not supposed to get political on this show. I get in trouble. Okay. But everything else. Anyway, so... okay, I lost. Okay, this game is straight cheeks. This game is a horrible, muggy mess that drops frames quicker than my mom dropped me on my head. That's not British.
No.
That ending, but the game is straight cheeks, which we know now. Now we're on the last one. That is, this one's a bit longer. And it's not really funny. We're kind of past the funny ones, except for the last one, which we'll both read together, because it's great. But so this one actually makes sense. This next one's from Metacritic, and I think it explains a lot of things from a point of view that makes a lot of sense. So this is from Science Advisor on Metacritic. Might be the smartest person on here.
Do you think it could be Bill Nye, the science
It could
guy?
be. Bill Nye might play this game,
spent
actually.
many years as a science advisor.
Does he play D&D?
I don't know. Probably. Looks like the kind of guy that would play D&D.
Yeah, but I mean, he's an engineer. But we digress.
Yeah. Sorry.
All right. So this should be ready to re-release in a few years. Probably true. Right now, just about every aspect of this is broken, from AI, check, to mechanics,
Double check.
Hitboxes, definitely check.
Oh, man.
And general gameplay design. This was even less ready for release than Fallout 76.
Neck and neck. I'm going to say they were
Close.
neck and neck, yeah.
Or Cyberpunk 2077. Now, Cyberpunk was playable in the Series X whenever it came out.
I have absolutely no frame of reference for that because I couldn't play it because of my sim sickness.
Oh, yeah.
But I just know what I heard, and what I heard was that saying that it was playable is the bare minimum thing that you could say about it.
Now, I will say this. If you played it on the PlayStation 4...
No.
Sucks to be you. It was so bad on the PlayStation, and honestly, the PlayStation 4 Pro and 5, that they took it off the entire game store for PlayStation.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
the problem comes into the fact, sorry, we're kind of digressing, but that the game was really developed for PC players. Like, if you have it on PC, you're going to have a good time if your PC can, catch your house on fire with how hot it runs. And, if you're okay with that. But it's okay. It runs pretty well in there. On the Series X, it runs well. if you're playing it, honestly, 30 frames per second or 60. But the problem is the PlayStation 5 cannot do backwards compatibility as well. So they have to code in things very specifically for a game, whereas the Series X doesn't have to. It's a lot easier on DirectX 12, and it caused some problems. There's some interesting pictures of the PlayStation 4
I know
version.
I heard a lot about it when
Yeah.
it came out.
All right, so this is where I really wanted to go into with this person too, because it talks about game reviews in the gaming publications world. They said the good thing is that this once again proves that some of the quote-unquote professional critics are shilling, which, you know, this guy's on Reddit if he uses the word shill. They love that word on Reddit. All right. Or do not even bother to play the game before. There's only one. It's not quite a quotations. It's like a.
It's a.
What do you call it whenever it's just one quotation, quote mark? I don't know. But reviewing is in that. For the historical record. Let me put into the historical record. At the time of this review, the following scores were given by these highly trustworthy sources. PC Gamer and Eurogamer Italy. Okay.
Yep.
Gave it an 8 out of 10. There's no way this game should be associated with the number 8.
Mm-mm.
Nah.
Not unless it's Rotten Tomatoes. Sorry.
Millennium? This person must be Italian. IGN Italia. God is a Geek. That person said, okay, that has to be fake. But no, that's an actual website. Gaming Bible. There's some very religious references in this guy's stuff. Shack News and Attack of the Fanboy, another fake. No, that's real. Gave it a 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10 on the best of days, but
No.
I haven't had any of those.
No.
Now,
I think 7 out of 10, like if they had spent another 6 months on development, maybe.
yeah. Multiplayer.it, which is apparently the worst webpage they've ever seen in decades. Plural.
Decades.
Gave it a 6.6 out of 10, but didn't bother with the review, so you know they're professional. And that is true. They're paying some money for some reviews somewhere. IGN was streaming it yesterday, and they're like, oh, wow, look how great this is. And it can be fun, but you don't want to show it off right now. Okay, and I figured that's going to be it for the review bombs, except for this glorious one on Metacritic. We'll read this at a time. This is WFB1, and then on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3. Ruim. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I ran out of breath. Sorry.
Yeah. Is that? Does something in that game happen like that, or is this guy?
Is that like
is he hexing
like
us?
It might be a hex, but I was thinking maybe the menu music. The beat in the back.
I do know there are parts of the game, and I'll talk about this in a second, that they sing or they do drums in the game.
Yeah.
Anyway, so let's go ahead and talk about this game. So we'll start with you, if you want. What are your actual thoughts on this game? Because I kind of accidentally dragged y'all into this mess, this janky abyss.
No, and I probably would have at least tried it, but probably not as soon. I was probably going to let it play itself out a little bit and see how it went before I jumped on board. But okay, so I played Neverwinter quite a bit.
Yes.
Which is also
I
a D&D.
tried to join in, yes.
That's also a Dungeons and Dragons game. And I really enjoyed it. And had they not done the graphics updates to where it started triggering my simulator sickness, I probably would still be playing it a lot. So I don't think I was mentally prepared for what this game was. Because I was expecting...
really be prepared for Dark Alliance?
I was kind of expecting like Neverwinter adjacent. Like not like siblings, but like at least second cousins.
Second cousins, yeah.
And this is more like they got different daddies.
So here's the thing. There is a game called Dark Alliance that is back in the day that's like Neverwinter Nights, like old school. And a lot of people were thinking that's what this was. And they were wrong.
They were way wrong. But it's not a bad game. It's something that I personally won't just play by myself. That's not something I'm going to just sit down and power through and get through all the storyline and everything. It is definitely fun when you have a group of 2 or 3 or 4 people, and you can plow. But there is so much jank.
There's so much jank.
There's so much
jank in this game.
I don't know how many times last night I screamed an expletive and then this janky game afterwards, because that's...
It fits it so well, too. It is a janky game. And
I feel like Jank's been waiting on this game.
Jank has been waiting.
Jank.
Yeah.
And we didn't even know it.
It's just been sitting there waiting to pounce on a game with hitboxes that span the entire hallway.
Like, they can hit you from the other room. Like, there's
It's crazy.
But you can't hit them unless you're on top of them.
Yeah, and so I noticed they did an update last night. I was like, oh, Skylar. And we were playing with a guy called Cleanest Python, which is a name. That's a name.
It's a name.
Anyway, yeah. He's number 9, by the way.
Yeah, there were 8 others.
There were apparently. So we were playing this, and I was like, oh, man, they put an update. Maybe they fixed things.
Nope.
I mean, some things.
Like what?
I don't know yet.
I didn't notice a single thing.
I will say I played solo.
Okay.
And before y'all jumped in with a level 1 character, and it was playable. I played as Dritz. I think they just made him super OP, because the problem with him was his stamina just dropped immediately when you used him. And now he can fight forever, and he just destroys things. So I think if you're playing the game on the easiest mode, you could probably run through the entire game now, which might be a good thing. It feels like they made the lowest levels easier, but man, we got to level 4 and things were just pancaking us.
Oh my gosh. It was insane.
It was bad. And then we tried playing with randoms, because at first friend mode didn't work. We couldn't play just by ourselves, so we had to let some random people in. Anyway, I'll talk. I guess I'll go into my thoughts, because I wrote some things down. So my favorite thing is the game actually captures the atmosphere of D&D very well.
It does do that.
Yeah, this is a very atmospheric game. There's something really fantastic about just listening to the goblins having conversations about their snot collection. Or when a cutscene hits and they play a nearly movie quality song that continues going throughout the level. That's what I really like too. They were like playing drums. There's I think the jamboree is what it is. And that was really fun. However, these are all aspects of a really fantastic single-player RPG that is made to be experienced rather than run through at breakneck speeds with angry Russians that drop out if you look for loot, or that one guy complaining nonstop that you didn't start the stage at level 6 and are therefore wasting his time. That happened yesterday before you showed up. And then he did illicit things on the thing. Anyway, so... If you have a group of 4, it's actually a fun excursion. We've been playing a group of 3, and it's still fun. We definitely need a 4th person.
Yeah, we definitely do.
Because I've played 4-player matches, and the characters balance out then, but they're all extremely unbalanced by themselves. Yeah. That being said, the net code and or hitboxes need to be adjusted really severely. There's nothing worse than being one shot by a character that even isn't facing you. I think that's where we got angry yesterday. Or sometimes on the same side of the hallway. I remember that yesterday.
We were just dropping dead, and there was nothing close enough to have hit us, and we were just dropping dead. And it's like, what even just got me?
Yeah. So here's the thing: the characters do actually show an area of effect graphic before they hit ... Sometimes. Okay, not all the times. Also, archers' arrows don't actually show when they hit or when they fly from goblins. It would be really nice if they would at least maybe stick out from you, pointing to wherever that goblin is that hits you.
Because of the color scheme, it's really everything kind of blends in.
Yeah.
If you're not looking directly at an ad, there's no way to know it's there. I mean, everything is the same muted, darker tones, and it's very pretty.
It is. It's actually,
but it's not nice... good to try to find what's shooting you.
Well, I think also, there are arrows around you.
Only sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes, not every time. We ran into some interesting jank yesterday.
Mr. Smarty Pants.
So maybe on PC, maybe they got the good version. Yeah.
Mr. PC elitist over there. You would just play it on PC, you wouldn't have these problems.
So I got to say that this is a game that I want to see in HDR. There are some things that definitely need to pop out better because everything has this intense color to it in a lot of areas, but without the brightness, the lumens essentially, you can't tell when something's changed, like poison on the ground. Freaking poison on the ground, and when it shows up late to start bubbling, that ticked me off yesterday.
So like the whole floor is green, but there's only like 2 pools of poison.
Yeah, and then they bubble.
You can barely see where the actual pools are and what's safe to walk across. Yeah, or it just renders very late.
And if you were to pop the brightness of that higher up on an HDR display, it'd be great. Or they need to figure out some other way to make that more noticeable. Now, that being said, there is a game here that could be fun, but this game is probably not going to be fun for another 6 months to a year, I would think. But honestly, who doesn't do that nowadays? Especially online games. I think Outriders we tried, which I think was a lot better than this in some aspects.
Yeah,
it was more put together, but people just hated it.
Let's be real though. The main reason people hated it is all the bugs where your loot disappeared, and you couldn't play crossplay, and it was just like. There were so many things that were game-breaking issues. It wasn't necessarily the game wasn't well put together or the game wasn't fun. It was just there were game-breaking issues that kind of turned people off. I know several people who refuse to even try it again at this point because they were burned and they don't want to go back.
That does happen with this game. Sometimes you don't get your loot, but then it shows up later.
Yeah.
It comes back to you at some point. If you love your loot, let it go.
If it returns, it's meant to be.
It's meant to be. Yeah. Now, there are a core group of people playing this for reasons. I can't explain who is
competitiveness.
Yeah, I don't even know if they can. There is something special about this game, but it's hard to point out. I think a lot of it's atmospheric. Maybe it'll be a game worth playing paying for by Christmas time, but if you don't have Game Pass, I definitely wouldn't bother with it right now. If you do have Game Pass, prepare to be a beta tester and experience a bit of janky fun with the rest of us, though. Because it has something there, but...
I'm gonna be totally honest. Had this not been on Game Pass and I bought it, I actually purchased it, I would be livid.
Oh, I looked at the PlayStation reviews because people on PC and people on Xbox are not paying for this game. The people that are playing on the PlayStation, you poor souls.
Poor unfortunate souls.
Okay. Well, I guess that's about it for the review bomb segment. You have anything else you want to say before we move on?
I have plenty to say, but I don't think it's safe for work.
It's not safe for work. All right, guys, that's it for the review bomb segments. But hey, we have a new sponsor. We've been graced by the corporate gods at EA, and we were able to make a Mass Effect Legendary Edition commercial.
What?
Yeah. Check out our totally real and not made up commercial for Mass Effect Legendary, and then get ready for our top 3 Janky Games, followed by a special bonus points after the break. Head on down to your local gaming store to pick up a copy of the highly acclaimed Mass Effect Legendary Edition. This baby's got everything you want in a video game. It's got 4K graphics, humans, aliens, guns, explosions, terrible janky planet exploring controls, love, hate, philosophizing, interplanetary racism, HDR, and so much more. Here are just a few things you can do in it. Take it away, Bob. You want to play a game for over 100 hours? Heck yeah, you do! Who needs family time? You want to hit on everything? Oh yeah! Make brain babies with the hot blue female-only aliens. Brain babies! Kill all the fish by forgetting to feed them every time you visit your ship in this 100-plus epic hour space saga. Screw your fish! Make genocidal decisions every couple minutes. Hans, are we the baddies? Team up with the Krogan, who are the spirit animal of those 12-year-olds that said horrible things about your mom during Call of Duty.
Reported! Do you want your friends to die because you didn't do some stupid side quest for them? So they throw a hissy fit because you aren't busy saving the entire freaking galaxy? How dare you! Act now! We'll throw in a couple of bucks off if you have Game Pass Ultimate because the giant amorphous blob monster known as Microsoft decided to form a symbiotic relation with EA. 2 amorphous blob monsters for the price of 1. Now it's time to go kill me some Reapers. Yeehaw!
All right, guys, it's time to talk about some janky games. Something janky just happened in the background. All right, guys. So, as y'all just heard with that commercial, I figured that'd be a good commercial and a good sponsor.
Yes.
Yeah, totally their real sponsor. It's not fake at all.
Not at all.
But Mass Effect is a gloriously janky game, and it has had some issues in the past. Mass Effect 3 specifically, and apparently the facial animations were turned up too far. Have you ever seen pictures of it? It kind of looks like everybody's got the Joker smile.
Oh, creepy.
Yeah, it's entertaining.
Like they all have the same plastic surgeon everyone in Hollywood does. You know,
Pretty
they all
much.
end up looking like
yeah.
yeah, like lions
Yeah.
kind of after Okay.
Yeah. So that is definitely a game that has a lot of jank. I think RPGs and massive games tend to have that. I am playing the third one, and you'll definitely hear a couple on this list in a minute. But let's go ahead and talk about a game we both have gathered upon and have been jankily eaten alive with. What's the game on your list?
State of Decay 2 Juggernaut Edition.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So what makes this game janky?
What doesn't make this game janky? But like in a good way, like it's endearing.
Yeah, so if you don't know what State of Decay 2 is, and you might explain this better than me, it's basically like a base building game.
It's like a zombie survival, like apocalyptic survival type game where you do have to collect resources and build a home base, and you have people you have to take care of. You make allies with other communities for trade and whatnot.
Yeah, it's actually really fun. They drug me into this game, kicking and screaming because there's zombies all around me.
And then we used you as bait.
Yeah, I am the bait.
Zombie
and
bait.
Distractions. I'm good for accidentally pressing.
Sometimes way too good at distracting.
So the buttons to heal are assigned to the right shoulder button. Well, it's a little scroll wheel. If you ever played like Monster Hunter, you have something like that too. Well, along with your heals, sometimes you have things like firecrackers. Zombies love firecrackers. Or explosives. Zombies don't love those, but I apparently love dropping them in the middle of the base.
On a vehicle.
Or when we're trying to be not be suspicious.
Yeah, you don't be suspicious.
Don't be suspicious.
That's number one rule of the game.
Yeah, and what's y'all's other term whenever we're playing? It's a zombie movie or zombie show rules.
Zombie rules. Zombie rules.
Zombie rules.
Yeah.
Okay. I can't think of the name of that show.
Walking Dead.
Walking Dead rules.
Walking Dead rules.
Yeah, you just make you say stupid crap. I'm Carl.
Yeah. No, you're Andrea. We covered this. You're Andrea.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, because you complain about zombies being people too, but then you end up turning into one anyway. So
Yeah, my character dies. I've actually gone through 4 people in the last week.
Is it only 4? It feels like so many more.
And yeah, so you go around, you collect things, you do stuff for random people. The driving in this game is glorious. Absolutely spectacular. It's I've done some barrel rolls and stomped on some zombies with a car.
Yeah. And it's either you're not moving or it's full throttle. There's no in between. It's just yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've tried to slow down.
Doesn't work too well.
No, you just Dukes of Hazzard that stuff over
Send
some
it.
zombies. Yeah, send it. And there are various types of zombies. There are regular zombies. There are screamers, which sing a glorious song. And
They sing the song of their people, which
And-
draws them all in.
yes. Then there are chonker zombies.
Chonkers.
They're just the fat guys.
The juggernauts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there, no, I'm,
Oh,
yeah,
you
there
were,
are
you were just
some-
talking about the random
oh,
fat
bloaters.
dudes. Bloaters. Yeah, they just have like huge pimples. Their entire belly is a
that's
pimple.
so gross. Yeah,
Yeah.
they pop and bring
Poisonous
in
gas.
their explosive gas brings all the boys to the yard.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have juggernauts. So there was a bounty by what was that dude's name? Cash Beaumont.
Cash Beaumont.
Cash Beaumont wanted
Howdy,
me to go
y'all.
around and hit a juggernaut with a blunt weapon,
No, heavy weapon.
heavy weapon.
Had to use a heavy weapon.
Well, so they told me that we were playing in a harder mode because you can play. I mean, it gets into an actual survival game, and we have been playing the patty cakes version of this with me because I.
It's called the green zone.
Yeah, the green zone. And so I decided I'm going to hit it. I'm going to wreck it.
I'm gonna wreck it.
And it wrecked me.
It wrecked you hard.
I think it ripped me in half.
It literally did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So
I found your legs later. Like they were just
I
off
got
to
my
the side.
backpack, but then I had to I tried to eat myself.
Yeah, well, you turned
my
into a
character-
zombie.
Yeah, my character came to life and I had to kill myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the one
It got
that
confusing.
there was the one that died that turned into a zombie and chased me. Like you were in your Kraken
Yeah.
hoodie chasing
Oh yeah,
me.
we have a cult.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's Krakens.
Yeah.
Everybody, one of us.
us. Yeah.
We have a good time with this game.
We do.
All
But you
right.
forgot about ferals, the scariest of all the
ferals.
freaks.
Yeah, they run on 4 legs.
They have the most terrifying sound that they make too.
Yes, if you hear a scary noise, it's
Just
most likely a
drive
feral.
faster.
Yeah, you can run over them. You can't run over
But
a
they dodge
juggernaut.
at the last second. Yeah, don't hit a juggernaut with your car.
I tried to kill a juggernaut with a Geo Metro.
Did.
It did not end.
It looked like a cardboard box when you were done. It was so bad.
Oh man, it was great.
That was the same juggernaut that ripped you in half.
It was. He was mad. But yeah, there's a lot of jank in that game. It's a pretty cool game.
Sometimes
but
you just fall through the floor, like the
Yeah,
ground. You
you
fall through the
just
ground, you get
disappear.
stuck, and then you can like see yourself kind of hopping, and then you'll fall through the earth.
I know we've had an issue where there were zombies stuck in rocks. I think we
Yeah,
had a
there was
screamer.
a horde. Remember, there was like
Yeah,
a
there was a
horde,
horde, yeah.
and they got stuck in the rocks, and we were trying to kill because they make noise, which attracts other zombies. So we were trying to
Yeah.
kill that last one, but it was stuck in a rock, and we couldn't do it.
I think we just left him.
We did.
Yeah.
No, yeah, we did.
Yeah, we just left
Yeah,
him.
we just left him.
All right. Well, I guess I'll get to. We'll just hop back and forth. Another game. I think the king of all janky games, Skyrim.
Mm-hmm.
Skyrim is a game that I can't think about this game without thinking about how bad it is. Like objectively not good some things are, and that I think is any Bethesda game though. Bethesda should just have their own place in the janky list. And I love Bethesda games. I love Skyrim. I've played Skyrim on so many systems. I'm surprised it's not in my air fryer because they put it on anything. I know that's a game you weren't able to play because of simulator sickness.
I did try it. I tried it first, 7 years ago. I was pregnant at the time, and I tried it in less than a minute. I was like, I gotta turn it off, and it was the first person thing. So I thought I'll give it another try. I'll do it third person, and the jank is strong.
The jank is
It
strong.
is so much stronger in third person. But I've got to say, I give all the
multiplier.
respect to this game because as janky as it is, people love it. Like, can't get enough of it. Have been playing this game for it's been out 10 years now.
It's been out forever. They're never going to release Elder Scrolls 6. And by the way, we didn't do a news roundup this episode, but our favorite person, Todd Howard, came out and said that people were asking, "Hey, what do you think about when do you think Elder Scrolls 6 is coming out?" I was like, just think of it like it's in development in a design phase. Oh, this game's never coming out, guys.
He should have just said it'll come out the same time Fable 4 does. That's what he should have said.
Fable might come out
Okay,
before this.
okay.
You know,
If Fable 4 actually comes out, I'll be in heaven.
Now, I will say this. Microsoft did buy both of those companies.
Oh, crap.
They own Fable now. They also own
Oh, okay.
Elder Scrolls.
I mean, yay!
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 I mean, they'll have a lot of money to throw at the problem. I mean,
Well, hopefully they
Starfield
get it
looks
out.
cool, but I'm sure it'll be jank.
Yeah.
Of course, granted, we haven't seen gameplay. It just doesn't look as janky. And people are like, oh, it doesn't look as janky. Yay.
So it won't be.
'Cause the
they're
engine
going
they-
to totally show us all the jank when they show it. Yeah.
All right, let's move to your next jank game.
The next one I'll talk about will be Valhalla, Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
I have ran upstairs and catapulted myself to Valhalla once in that game.
I gotta say, I was disappointed in the whole game. Like, for just a second, not to talk about the jankiness of it, but I love Assassin's Creed. I've always loved Assassin's Creed. All of the Assassin's Creeds. I can't get enough. Odyssey, oh my gosh, I think I probably put like a good 30 solid days into Odyssey. Nonstop, 8 hours, 9 hours a day. Loved it. Could not get enough. When I saw they were doing Vikings,
Yeah, Vikings.
I almost wet myself because I was so happy. I was so disappointed because it was
Really?
just like, to me, the storyline was good, but then they took you out of it to take you to Asgard.
Oh, the
And you were
Asgard
out of it for
areas.
so long, and then you come back and you're like, wait, what what
skipped
was I
them.
doing? So I did. I started
one.
skipping them.
Yeah, I did one Asgard thing.
But then you want to get then we can get into the janky. Okay, so apart from the storyline issues I had, there would be quests that you couldn't turn in. Quests that it would tell you to go you had to go sneak into this camp and steal. Oh, let me back up though, because first of all, let's talk about how you have an Assassin's Creed game where stealthing is not really the thing to do.
Yeah,
Which that threw me.
It doesn't.
Stealthing does
Stealth.
not win you any points in this game. Like, you come in, axes blazing, just slicing and dicing. That's what you do. Anyway, I had a mission. It was like, go to this camp, sneak in, steal this barrel, run away, put it in a boat. I was like, cool, can do. I am super stealther. So I sneak into this camp. Nobody sees me. I'm kicking butt. Steal the barrel, go back, no boat.
Oh, that mission.
So I sit the barrel
that
down.
was during the what festival was it?
Yeah,
Was
it
it the
was like
winter?
shortly after release. It wasn't.
Yeah. All right, sorry, go ahead.
So I set the barrel. No. Then there was a what are they called? Bounty hunter. You know what I'm talking about though, where they come after you and they try to kill you for money.
Yeah.
So he comes up and he's much higher level than me. So I drop the barrel and I run and I hide because I don't want to die. Go back, no barrel, no boat, no barrel. Okay, cool. So maybe it just reset everything because I dropped the barrel. So I go all the way back and I sneak, no barrel in camp. So there was like another random barrel further down. Sneak in, grab it, take it back, still no boat. Drop the quest.
Hated that quest.
Never tried it again because I wasn't going to waste my time. And then there were the quests that were like the event related quests. And when you went to go turn them in, it would tell you to go to like the opposite end of the world. And there was nothing there.
Yeah.
And you could just I never could complete them.
So what happened with that one? Because we talked about that in the past. The barrel in the boat would transport to the other side of the map randomly.
Oh. Wow.
It
I wasn't carrying that barrel all the way there.
So bad. No, you shouldn't, because I don't think there's any way you could have. And so I kind of got to the point with Valhalla, and I'm actually a huge fan of Valhalla. I actually like I'm not a big Assassins. I'm not a big sneak person. I'm really bad at sneaking in games. So whenever
We know from State of Decay, we're aware.
yeah, we
Don't
definitely
be
know.
suspicious.
Oh man, the thunder just kicked in. We have angered.
I've angered
Thor.
Thor.
But
I'm sorry, Valhalla's the best game ever.
Sorry, it's the greatest. Now, one thing I started a rule with Valhalla: don't ever play it after they update it. Wait a couple weeks or a month,
Okay.
before you try any new content, because it's always garbage when they first do it. So that mission I hated. I had the same exact problems, but the cow. Did you ever do the mission
the
where the guy's
cow.
like, "I'm going to be a man. I'm gonna go and kill a
Yes.
cow for this lady."
Yes.
And when he does kill the cow, what did he do for you? Maybe you had the same problem.
I honestly don't remember. I know I did the mission, but I don't remember
I couldn't
the
finish
outcome.
it because he would straight up go like the Blair Witch Project and just start staring at something. He would stare
What?
at a tree like trying to, like, come on, little fella, you killed a cow, you're a good boy.
You big
come
so
on,
man.
we're gonna have steak tonight if you come back to the ranch. And he wouldn't. Yeah. So yeah, Valhalla I really enjoyed, but
Now that you say that, that might have been what happened with my. I know that
I
I
got
did
so
at some
ticked
point.
off.
I just gave up
Well,
because it was like you couldn't complete half the missions. I was so upset by. I felt like there was just like a lack of trying with the story. I felt they
Yeah.
just
Oh,
they
I
had
can see
so
that.
many ways they could go, and they just didn't try. They took like
Yeah.
seasons 1 through 4 of Vikings, the TV show, and they said, "Okay, now
I want that.
Yes, make
Yeah.
that into a game.
yeah.
Go."
So yeah, and it got interesting by the end. But anyway, so yeah, Valhalla definitely on the jank list.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna go to my final one. WCW NWO Revenge. Now, I used to be a big wrestling nerd.
Me too. N64.
Yeah.
Yep.
And this was the last, I think, fun wrestling game for me. Because it was actually still a game. They weren't trying to do some realism. Or, I don't know if you've ever played those WW2K games. They basically just turn into like two guys are just kind of like trying to strangle each other, and then you had to do a mini game to stop or continue said strangling.
Okay.
It's stupid and I hate it. And
Okay.
those are janky in their own right, but they're not fun. Now, WCW NWO Revenge, you could put somebody in like a figure 4 leg lock, and then all of a sudden you transport underneath the level and then show up on the turnbuckle.
Surprise.
And it's like, yeah. And that game was rough. It was made by a key. And man, I wish they'd bring that one back. They did make a game called Def Jam. There was a Def Jam wrestling game
Okay.
that was actually pretty good. You played as like gangster rappers,
What?
real life gangster rappers.
Yes,
Like you could
please.
be like Nas was in it. I think Common. There's a bunch of other.
I need that.
It was actually good.
I need that.
So it wasn't janky. It was a much cleaner looking game. But yeah, you need to
I need to look into that one.
freaking Def Jam wrestling games. But
Jam.
yeah, that's my top one. 'Cause I probably put more hours into that game as a kid than I legally should have. And I probably destroyed some. I still don't even remember how to properly play it. Like, I don't think I ever really knew. You know, like when you're a kid, you play a game for 4 billion hours. And I don't even remember how to do specials, right? I think you moved a stick a certain way. Anyway. All right. What's your favorite janky game?
Okay, my favorite janky game of all time has to be Division 2.
Oh yeah.
I did like Division 1. I did play Division 1 quite a bit, but Division 2, in my opinion, is just superior and jankier.
You have 2 Ubisoft games on.
I do, and I don't want anyone to think I'm picking on Ubisoft, but they don't usually fix the
we're
glitches.
not saying these are bad games.
They're like, we're going to give you all the new content, but you're going to have to live with all the glitches from 5 years ago.
They have glitches only a mother could love.
This is true.
Yeah.
Glitches don't get stitches with Ubisoft.
Glitches don't get stitches.
They just don't.
Yes.
But Division 2 is amazing. It's fun. You can play solo. You can play with people. I'm in a really awesome clan, a group of guys that, you know, they're from all over the world, and we play together, and it's great. But there are so many glitches. Like, sometimes your enemies don't spawn out of the door because you killed things too quickly.
Oh.
And so you're just stuck, and you have to restart the entire level,
Oh, no.
the entire mission, because they're just like frozen, and you can see them behind the door, but you can't hit them.
Yeah.
Or you know, you'll have on a certain gear set with certain stats and everything, and it's all good to go, but then the numbers of what you're hitting don't reflect the stats that you should have. And it's just, there are so many little things, and then over time they just build up to a point where it was like last night, where after I was done playing, I was wiped out because there was so much.
You
jank.
play like the high level stuff too.
I mean, I'm not as high as a lot of.
I mean,
they're-
rating is not.
Yeah, well,
Is that a normal thing that normal people do on that game?
It's one of, in my opinion, I could be wrong, but in my opinion, rating's what you end up doing after you've done everything.
Yeah.
Because you can play the same missions over and over again, and they're still fun. I mean, you still find new things, but once you've farmed everything you need to farm and you've done everything a few times, then raiding becomes, if you're not into PvP, and I'm not really a PvP person.
Oh, I didn't know you could do PvP.
Yeah, they
in
have
this game.
they have PvP areas called the Dark Zone, and I'm not particularly a PvP person, so I enjoy doing the raids as just something. It's challenging. You have to be communicating with each other. You've got to go in with a plan, and then glitches happen, and then it's
then you play for 4 hours and nobody
play
wins.
for 4 hours and still don't finish, and
no loot.
But you get loot along the way.
Oh yeah.
But
yeah.
you know your really powerful exotics that you can only get in raid, you don't have a chance to get because you can't complete the final boss. But yeah, it's glorious and janky.
Gloriously
And it is
janky.
it's one of those games. As a matter of fact, when we played Outriders, when it first came out, I had not played Division for quite some time because I kind of got burnt out. I took a break. I don't play a lot of games because of my sim sickness, and when I do find something I like, I dive in head first and I stay there until I'm removed from the pool, I guess. So when you had me try Outriders for the first time, I got really excited and I started playing it, and then I was like, this feels a lot like Division. Like it's Division but with magic and pretty colors. So it started having all of the jankiness with the Outriders, and so then I said, well, if I'm going to play this and have the glitches, I'm just going to go back to Division 2. And that's what got me back into Division 2 again, because it just had that same feel to it, and I really enjoyed it. And I have, like I said, a really good group of people that I play with, so that's what makes it better, is having a good community for me. And I enjoy that game. People say it's a dying game, but it's only dying if you don't have a good community to play with. So
True. We probably need to convince Python to come into Outriders, maybe.
he used to play,
Oh,
if
I
I'm
need to
not
get back into it
mistaken.
now
I'm
that
pretty
they've-
sure he did play when it first came
They
out.
supposedly fixed things. Of course, they said the same thing about Dark Alliance.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, guys, that is going to be the end of that segment. And we have angered the Thor.
I take full responsibility because I
With this segment.
spoke
If
badly
you
about
hear-
the Asgard segments of Valhalla.
If you hear lightning and thunder, because we paused a second ago, just expect it in the bonus point segment. So, after the break, we're going to look at Twitter and Discord to check out the bonus points all you lamers told us online when we asked you, what's your favorite janky game? Guys, before we get started giving out some bonus points, if you like what we're doing, drop on by our Twitter at LamerGamersCast and give us a follow. That way you can keep up with us, with all of us lamers, because there's always something going on, like a hurricane, a tropical storm, another hurricane, apparently angering Thor
Sorry.
right now. Yeah. That's happening. It is so raining right now. Snakes crawling in my dishwasher, random petrochemical plants exploding next to Rowdy's house, and you can join in the fun by replying to bonus points topic we post up on our Twitter. I can't speak. Oh, hey, and if you want to buy us a coffee, go to KOFI and look for Lamer Gamers. All right, guys, so we are going to go through what all you lamers said. What was your favorite janky game? I also included, on Twitter I also gave the Oxford definition.
Oh, okay.
So theirs was of extremely poor, unreliable quality. The software is pretty janky. See,
Yeah,
wasn't
yeah.
the Urban Dictionary one was better, wasn't it?
Yeah, it really was.
It was.
But
Okay.
Urban Dictionary usually is better as far as more interesting.
Yeah. All right, guys. So first up, we have More Than a Podcast, which you can find on all your podcast providers. He says, I'd have to say Resident Evil on PS1. Compared to today, those tank controls were so bad. I broke a lot of ground, but I'd never play the original again. Did you ever play Resident Evil?
Not the first one. No, I did.
Yeah.
I did. I had
I couldn't
an
do
emulator back in the day, and I did try it.
I couldn't do it.
I didn't get far, obviously.
Yeah. All right. We have a response from Omega C Studio, who does art online. Do you want to get his?
People criticize the tank controls and have done so for 2 decades now. But really, I don't think it was so much the controls that were the issue, as Resident Evil 4, for example, had essentially the same basic movement controls. One of the major changes started with Resident Evil 4 was the camera.
Right. It actually made it playable. It was a little less janky, but have you ever seen Resident Evil 7 or 8?
Yes.
So one of the ridiculous things in that game, you can lose your arm, pour a little bit of medicine on it, and just stick it back.
Pop.
Because
Right back on there.
that's how that works. That's science.
I think so.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we have Hammer Fist
I
Prime.
bet that's some science my mom wish she had access to.
Oh, that's okay. So legit. Do you need to explain this?
I mean, my mom had an accident at work back in 2009, and it resulted in her losing her right hand. But she has a very good sense of humor about it, so we make lots of jokes.
She does. Didn't it to get into the nitty gritty of it? Didn't she went to a wax machine and
Yeah, I got stuck in a machine that made wax, and the wax filled the glove up, but it was also like a conveyor belt, so it kind of skinned her hand.
Oh man,
filling the glove with wax. They tried rebuilding her palm with a muscle from her back, and then they had pins and fingers, and it just
didn't
at the end of the
take-
day,
yeah.
if she barely brushed against something, it would like bring her to her knees. So she
that
was
nerve
like, "There's
was
just
just
too
too
much
raw."
pain." Yeah.
Yeah.
So she asked them to remove it, and her plastic surgeon was like, "Do you know how much work I've done on this hand?" And she's like, "Don't care, can't do anything with it."
I
So-
can see your mom saying that.
Yeah. So she asked them to please remove it.
Yeah, she's pretty hardcore.
Now she drives tractors and
Oh, yeah.
does whatever she wants to do, or she drives a standard Jeep, and
Yeah. All right. Next up, we have Hammer Fist Prime at Tech It to the Max. I believe you can find Hammer Fist on Twitch. He put, oh man, one that always comes to mind. Now, he put a picture. I don't know what this game is, but it shows Han Solo and Luke Skywalker. Ryan, do you know anything?
have you ever seen this game?
Do you know things about Star Wars in video games?
Oh, I can't.
Okay, nobody knows what this game is, but it looks janky.
That looks janky.
It looks like it's from the 64 of the PlayStation.
Yeah.
And it's definitely a fighting game that's 3D characters. So if you know what that is, let us know.
It's like Mortal Kombat Star Wars edition.
All right, next up we have at Lucas Egan, who is the digital content producer at Review Journal and Land Parties Pod. Do you want to get his?
Deadly Premonition.
So Deadly Premonition. I have not played that.
I have not played that
Yeah.
either.
Next up, we have Japan Lover 79 says Shadow the Hedgehog. I was a kid and fell for the edgy marketing. True.
Yeah.
I think if you bought Sonic. Mm-hmm. Now, did you play Sonic as a kid?
All the time.
Were you okay? So the thing is, you were either Nintendo or Sega. Were you
Yeah.
Sega?
I was that rare hybrid bird.
Oh, okay.
It depended on whose house I was at, because different family members had different consoles. So,
Right.
if I was at my house, it was Nintendo.
Okay.
But if I was at like my grandmother's house, we had Sega. So it was just
Gotcha.
like, whoever's house. But I was a hybrid.
We had both in my house, but the Sega was only for Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine.
Oh, that's amazing.
My mom would hoard the Sega behind her door, and we never got to play Sega. I think I got Castlevania on it and got to play it like once. That was her Sega.
It was her Sega.
You play your Nintendo games. But I never was a fan of of Sonic the Hedgehog. And
I
you put
enjoyed-
Shadow.
I enjoyed Sonic the Hedgehog quite a bit. I mean, it was difficult, but
Reactions that are not. I don't pay attention long enough to press A in time.
yeah.
Yeah, it wouldn't be good. Next up, we have Anthony Shelton, who is the producer and host for Gaming Trend YouTube. He says any Dynasty Warriors game. Have you ever played Dynasty Warriors?
No, I haven't.
It's just a big battle, and you run to the next thing and kill it.
Okay.
So
Well, because seeing that next thing, I did.
Yeah.
I have played Hyrule Warriors a bit.
okay,
a bit. Yeah.
that's a Dynasty War. Do you want to go ahead and
Okay.
get that one?
So it says. So does that include Hyrule Warriors and Age of Calamity?
Now, I don't think he responded, but yeah. that would definitely be
Okay.
that kind of
Because
game.
I have played Hyrule Warriors.
Is Hyrule Warriors janky?
I didn't find it janky.
Okay. I need to get Age of Calamity. I haven't gotten it yet because it's actually part of the story. Whereas Hyrule Warriors is just like they shook them all up together in a bucket and
Dumped them out.
that's what you got. Yeah. All right. Next up, we have the Heckin' Call podcast. Says Sonic Heroes. I rented that game so many times in a row. The cashier at Hollywood Video was like, you could have bought that game with all the money.
We've all been there.
Now, I did reply to this. Because I think we had Hollywood Video for like 2 years where I live before Blockbuster purchased them. Then they all went belly up not too long after. But this made me feel super old.
Yeah. We've all, I think, our age group has all been in a situation where we rented the same movie or game so many times that we could have probably bought 6 copies of it.
Yes.
But our parents could justify that like $2.95 rental versus like a $30 game at the time or whatever, however much it was.
Oh yeah. And man, Game Pass is. I think that's a big thing too. Like with things like Game Pass and all this stuff, man, it's so cheap compared to renting anything.
Yeah.
Remember, renting a video game would be anywhere from like $3.99 to $7.99. Like if it was fresh.
Yeah. And then you had to hope they had it in stock when you went.
And then you didn't turn that in late.
Yeah, because and then if the person who had it already turned it in late, you were like cussing them for weeks because like other people want to rent that game.
Yeah. Back in the y'all kids just don't understand what life used to be like. Do you want to get these? Get Japan Lover?
Japan Lover. I remember renting games from there.
Yeah, you can get Omega C if you want.
I remember the Blockbuster Video having those OG Pokemon Snap kiosks where you could print out tiny photos or stickers from that game. I vividly remember that.
Let's see. I think that was it. Oh, we have Will and Drew's Gaming retrospective podcast. Says, dude, I remember when my father brought home our first VCR. It was bigger than the launch Xbox One. That's huge. That's a huge VCR.
Man.
All right, do you want to get Paranoid Android at Voxel Hero on Twitter?
Favorite Janky game is Castlevania 64. There's a pretty decent game underneath the awful platforming and horrendous camera.
Yeah, I had to respond to that. I'm pretty sure that you can attach that description to 90% of the N64 games.
100. Remember the 007 game?
Oh, yeah. You remember, was it everybody would pick Odd Job? Or who was the short one?
I can't remember now.
Because you couldn't aim up and down easily.
Yeah.
You would pick the short guy so you wouldn't get shot as
Yes.
much. Oh, man. Japan Lover 79 adds, while true modern games have their jank too, I remember playing TES4. I don't know what. Elder Scrolls 4, Oblivion, that's what that means. And an NPC constantly running into a trap and dying for no reason. I wonder if that's one of those missions like, you're going to protect Bob. Well, Bob's stupid.
Yeah, Bob likes to run to danger. Don't be like Bob.
Don't be like Bob. Okay, so this one. I'll let you get Omega C's actual response.
This might raise some hackles. Smash Brothers Melee. I have a lot of nostalgia for it, sure. But has anyone here tried playing it in the last 4 or 5 years? I have, and some of those mechanics are unreal.
So the thing with Melee is that is the competitive Smash game because there's a lot of jank in ways to basically do, I think it's called wave jumping or something. But yeah, with that, I could feel the concentrated hackles coming from the dark recesses of the interwebs. And Japan Lover 79 adds, considering wave dashing, that's what I was thinking.
Wave dashing
is a bug. It's pretty jank. Now, I'm going to read that one later, but because that one is one we mentioned from Discord. Now, I'm going to go in. I'm streaming this right now over to Skylar, and I think that might be, is that it from, I think we've reached the end of bonus points. I thought we had another round of them, so I'm going to scroll down just to be sure. In this point, if I haven't introduced it yet, we also have a bonus point from Lamppost Gaming on YouTube, and you can find that right here. Oh, hey, also I found some more while we were playing that. Sound Creepy Podcast says, they are not a fan of Janky Games, but I do enjoy me a glitchy open world mess from time to time. Hilarity often ensues. Yes. All right, you want to get the next one? New Dad Gaming Podcast.
Attack on Titan Final Battle. If you liked the show, the game has got definite jank, but it's so good.
I've never been into Attack on the Titan, but
No.
I thought they would make a cool game because it's just you're fighting big titans.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next up we have Weston, who is Weston Hasty, does a Hasty podcast and is on YouTube. Apparently he's a sandwich artist too.
That's a really cool job.
Yeah. All right. Army Men, Sarge's Heroes was an amazing game. Loved it to death, but it was pretty jank. I've heard that is a good game. Midwest Meltdown says they love it too.
Is it like I've never heard of it? Is it like the little green army men?
Yeah,
Is that,
yeah. I think it's a first person or a third person
that's
game.
cool.
Yeah. Apparently, Hallowed by the Game podcast also loved that game growing up.
Huh.
Interesting. That's one I didn't expect. Do you want to hit up Midwest Meltdown podcast?
Midwest Meltdown
sorry.
podcast. Just said love this game. Is that what you're
it's
talking
the
about?
one underneath that.
One underneath that. Oh, sorry.
They had to come back and say it today. They had to sleep on it.
Legit loved this game. Is that what you're talking about?
Is it not streaming it anymore?
Must not be.
All right, so I'll go ahead and read it.
Okay.
They said,
You
okay,
go
had some time to sleep on it, and I got a better one. Mass Effect Andromeda. I don't know why, but I really stand behind this game, even though the graphics were so bad and it had so many problems at launch. That game, people just absolutely... Huh? You didn't
People
like
hate
it?
No, like
Oh.
the reviews on it were terrible. I only recently tried to play the game. I didn't play it at launch or anything, but I looked it up before I started because I always look games up to see if they're going to be first person, third person,
I
like
could
what
see it
it's going to
making
be.
you sick.
It honestly didn't.
Wow.
But
I don't see how, because that, okay, so I played it, and the camera shakes the whole time.
yeah, so it doesn't shake as bad as some games like what is that? Hellblade? Oh my gosh.
Okay.
That game was miserable. But it doesn't shake as bad, at least not on mine. It didn't shake as bad all the time. It was just
Whoa.
kind of like an every now and then thing.
Yeah.
I was able to play it for about an hour before I started feeling anything.
Wow.
So that was, but I was reading some of the reviews before I even bothered downloading it.
Yeah.
And people absolutely hated it because it was so different from the other Mass Effect games. They were saying
Apparently, Thor likes Mass Effect.
I'm sorry, Thor.
He's angry.
I've
today.
already angered him, and now I'm talking bad about Mass Effect. I'm sorry. But they were saying it was just so different from all of the other Mass Effect games that it just wasn't any good. And I can see that. I can see that it is much different. I don't know about all of the jankiness because, like I said, I only was able to play it for about an hour and a half or so. So
Gotcha. I started playing it because I played through all of Mass Effect Legendary, which was amazing. Started up, and honestly, they were saying that it didn't look very good. I think it looks great. Now, they have updated it for the 1X, which means on the Series X, you
Okay.
get the 1X graphics, but it's still at 30 frames per second.
okay,
And it uses blurriness to, a lot of times they add in motion blur to make up for low frame rates, but also they use something that chromatic aberration. Have you ever heard that term?
no,
It's a term for whenever a camera is turned a certain way and it skews the color as it's coming through the lens. So you see like a little bit of red and green on the outside of the object, just a hint. And it makes the game so freaking blurry.
okay.
I had to turn it off. I normally don't. But it's like they tuned the chromatic aberration for a lower resolution, and whenever you put it in 4K, it
Doesn't know what to do with itself.
That might be why you didn't have a problem with it at first.
Might have been.
Because it flattens everything out. The depth difference is massive.
Yeah.
All right, so you still can't see any of this stuff,
No.
right?
No.
All right, I'll just have you react. Will and Drew's Gaming Retrospective says, Club Drive for the Atari Jaguar.
Wow, that's old school.
Yeah, I wanted a Jaguar as a kid. Have you seen the controller for that beast?
Mm-mm.
They're like, it's literally like there's some buttons up top, and then underneath is the alphabet.
What?
I guess
That's
so you
so
could
cool.
type. Yeah. So yeah, he shared something with me online. If you want to go find it on Twitter, says the best way to learn about this dumpster fire is to watch a video. Said the Atari is a janky system, but it had moments of greatness. Tony Coffee at the _ Goomba on Twitter says Skyrim is probably the king of janky games. As usual, Tony is correct.
Yep.
And then finally, the Midwest Meltdown. They had a bunch of them on here today.
Really?
Medal of Honor, European Assault. They said they just kind of seemed janky back in the day. All right, so that is it for over there on Twitter. Now we're going to go over to Discord, and I'll just read through these. We're almost through. I know, Thor. You can stop hitting lightning in my yard.
I already apologized.
I can see the water going across my porch.
I was just looking at that. It looks like...
Yeah.
Hey, we might be stuck here for a little while.
Yeah.
I just got a flash
3 inches
flood
of
warning on
rain
my...
already.
I got a flash flood warning on my
Hey,
phone.
you are coming to party at our house today. Hopefully we keep lights. Oh, man. So, guys, whenever we make that joke about you never know what to expect with the podcast and things like floods showing up,
Just happened.
it just happens down here in the steamy swamps of southeast Texas.
In the armpit of Texas.
Mm-hmm. All right. Drufus says Dark Souls. He can't think of a more jank game. You ever play Dark Souls?
I've watched it played. I don't enjoy it.
I can't.
It angers me to my core.
Fried Shoes on Discord says Travis Strikes Again. Now, that's not me. That's a No More Heroes spinoff game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I never got to play it. The Amazing LSB, Lightsaber Blues, says Killer is Dead, which is also another No More Heroes game. That game is straight up jank.
Okay. It's just all jank.
It's like notoriously jank. And
Sounds like a good rap name.
oh, notoriously jank.
I like it.
I'm sure somebody is known as Little Notoriously Jank already, and they do mumble rap, and it's terrible.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Next up, LSB also says Aliens Colonial Marines. Never ended up playing that. Okay.
Aliens, Colonial Marines.
Yeah. We have Drufus again, and he likes to tick off people. He says, to be honest, Mario games are bleh.
Oh, that hurt my heart.
Well, mainline games are bleh. Golf and party are pretty fun. What in the world is wrong with you, Drufus?
What? The mainline games are bleh, but golf is good?
Mario Party games are like they're fun, but they're jank. Like, that's the point of it. He said Odyssey was all right, and the Wii U one was pretty all right too, but the rest are seriously bleh.
That hurt my heart.
That hurt.
That hurt Thor's
heart. Oh man.
At least
All
he's
right.
mad at somebody other than me now.
Right? I'll have to tell him Thor is mad at him. Next up, we have Konik, who added a couple things on there. He did respond to that, said golf and party haven't been great for a while, which I would agree. But it's a hard disagree on Mario mainline games being bleh, at least the 3D ones.
Yeah.
And his king of jank would be Skyrim.
Yes.
As Mr. Tony Coffee says, he loves that game, but you basically have to play with the wiki open so you can avoid the battlefield of glitch-based landmines that compromise it. Truth.
Yeah.
And finally, we have Tyson. Tyson does a podcast I'll talk about here in just a minute. But he says, my janky game is probably Cyberpunk 2077. Now, Tyson, he played this on the Stadia. So, which Stadia, surprisingly, was one of the better plays for people to play Cyberpunk.
Really?
Cyberpunk makes no freaking sense.
No.
It is also just straight up jank. But he says he loved that game while everybody else was calling for its blood. Most of the bugs he found were funny, and the story you get from all the quests you take on it is very enjoyable. The high quality voice acting, visual aesthetic, and the detail and density of Night City made it a very memorable, emotional, and fun game for me. Now, I will say I played it for a little bit. I would agree with that. With only a few truly annoying glitches and such. I played on a Stadia though, so I didn't get the worst of it. And so yeah, he liked it. If you want to hear more of his
Okay.
stuff, he's got a new podcast, On Screen, and expands their scope from TV to all screen-based entertainment. Him and Will have created multiple segments, so you'll hear new locally sourced handcrafted audio bumper jingles that are designed to keep them moving through new topics. So he's got a little recording and jingle for each segment. So check them out, Total Screen on Google. Find them on your favorite podcast client. So
I'm gonna go check them out.
yeah, that is about it for this janky episode. We're ending with some crazy downpours outside.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to add for today?
If anyone knows how to appease Thor, what sacrifices need to be made, or whatever, please
Blood Eagles.
hit us up somewhere.
We got to do a Blood Eagle.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I'm sorry,
That's
guys.
terrifying.
We're maybe he's okay with. I mean, you could Blood Eagle a turkey, maybe not like a
Oh.
live one.
Yeah, like a butterball.
We can't volunteer, Skylar.
Hey, I know where you sleep. We can Blood Eagle a butterball. I think that would be okay.
Blood Eagle the Butterball. Thor agrees. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you for listening to the Lamer Gamers podcast. We'll be back in a week or two. Follow us on Twitter to kind of keep up, and hopefully I can get Rowdy back. But thank you, Skylar.
Thanks for having me.
joining in the weirdness
This was fun.
that is the Lamer Gamers podcast.
Anytime.
And thank you, Thor,
For making an appearance
for
as well.
making an appearance. All right, guys. You have a good one.